Okay, now that you guys have watched the videos and learned a little bit more about this Big Six, we're going to conclude our lesson. And I am just going to go briefly over the 6 steps about the Big Six, which are the steps for a research project. And though I said at the beginning that this was going to apply for the assignment that Ms. Smith has assigned to you, know that this can apply for any research project, or even if it's not for an assigned thing from school. Even if you have a question, something that interests you, you can always go through these steps to get the best results. All right, now this is a handout that you're able to access on Google Classroom whenever you need it, or have actually printed them into bookmarks. So if you would like one, you can stop by the library and have them ready for you. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start going over the steps. The first step in the Big Six is the task definition. So even though some of these titles are a little bit fancy, I will be going through them just so you know they're not that hard to understand. So the first step is to identify what your topic and prompt are. So what information will you need to complete your assignment? So it's always important to get to your topic, to get it to be as specific as possible. That way when you're looking through sources, it's easier to gather them and to eliminate some that you might not need. If you are confused about the topic or prompt, I would go back to your teachers to make sure that you are doing it correctly and not go through all the steps and turns out that you weren't doing the correct thing. Okay, so it's just knowing what information you need and what exactly you're searching for. Okay. The next step is information seeking strategy. So this just means what type of sources are available. So some teachers prefer or have in the requirements that they need a book, a website, a scholarly article, an image, a video, or some combination of them, or two of each, or some kind of combination, right? So you want to make a checklist as you're looking for your research, as you're researching, to make sure that you have exactly what was asked of you. If not, if there's no requirements of the types of sources that you need, you may pick the ones that are best for you, the ones you understand the best, because essentially the point of the research project is for you to become an expert in this topic in whichever way you decide to go about it. Okay. The third step is location and access. Okay. So location and access just means, so you've picked your sources. Now, where are you getting them from? So if it's a book, you might find it in our school library, or you might need to go to a public library. You might find them in our online databases. You might find them online on a website or a blog post. And as you gather them, start scanning them and looking for the information that you need, because sometimes the titles look promising or the pictures, but if you scan them, you'll realize that it's not really applicable to your topic. Okay, the fourth step is the use of information. So this is engaging with your resources. Okay, so you already have your sources. Now you might need to read it or hear it or view it, touch it, highlight it, taking notes, and making sure to use only the information that best fits your need. Okay, for example, like I said, some information sources is complementary, but not really relevant to your topic. So you want to make sure that you are using it correctly. Okay, all right. The fifth step is synthesizing. So synthesizing just means like putting everything together and understanding it. Okay. So when you synthesize, you want to combine and organize information from your resources. Decide how you will present your information. For example, you can use slides or a poster or a video. Sometimes teachers give you the freedom to choose. Other times they say you got to do it in a research paper, which means you have to type it out. Other times you can use slides, or you can record it and create a video. So just make sure that you are also paying attention to what the requirement is, or if you have the freedom, you can also decide. Okay. Last but not least is the evaluation process. So your assignment is already done. You've done all the hard work, but it is still important to evaluate your assignment based on the rubric. So I like to use rubrics like a checklist. So making sure that you meet the most points possible. Always start with the highest amount of points and making sure that you have those things. I'm not going back and fixing, hey, I missed this or not. So always go back to the rubric. And lastly, reflect on what could have gone better and apply it the next time. Okay, so those are pretty much the big six. Now, I also included some resources for you to keep learning. First, we have the research processes, and this just goes over the big six again. But if you look at the tabs, it has some research tips and tools, information on databases, searching the internet. So this is a really awesome resource from Eugene Ashley High School. Okay. And then I also included a resource for choosing the best presentation format. So like I said, sometimes you can do posters, you can do PowerPoint, depending on what your teacher assigned of you. And if they didn't, you have the freedom to do it. This is a great website to help you know the pros and cons of each type of presentation format. Okay. Now, one of the steps of the big six is to engage with your resources. So when we're engaging with our resources, we need to take notes. So this is an awesome website to help you. Well, what do I need to take? What's important? What's not important? Okay, another resources that I included are the source types. Like I said, sometimes teachers assign you need a combination of resources, or you're free to choose your own. So it just tells you a little tiny summary of what each type is: the news and magazines, professional and trade sources, books, government documents. So it's a really small description of each. Now the last one is the CRAP test, that some sources are not reliable. So even if you find like a perfect source, always do your CRAP test for any type of resource. And here you can learn a little bit more about what exactly it is. It has some videos, and it even includes a checklist. And that's it. Remember, this handout is available to you in the Google Classroom, and I'll see you guys next time in the library to help us get started with looking for your sources. Bye-bye for now.